Okay. Looks like we are live here. Hey guys, welcome back. I am Squats. I have my friend here. You want to introduce yourself, sir?
Uh, Incoming Herb, the Hudson, but Herb mostly. Doof Sniper on the game chat. Why is that?
I'm I should have prepared before I threw this up. But basically today's topic, what we're going to be getting into, uh we've been talking on cars. We want to keep talking about cars. Now, one of the things about cars that is probably one of the most important things is the fuel,
Yes, I'm the
right?
guest star. That's what robs the cars, so that's the most important.
Okay.
I'm just playing.
Doof, you have laid before us a scheme of what you want to talk about, yeah?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to do fuel economy, there's one thing that everybody can do to get the most efficiency out of their cars that don't take anything to do with money. Usually, it's keep the tire pressure at, what it's supposed to be. Usually at least 35 pounds. Some cars up to 42, and my theory is 38's a good round usual number, unless it's a big truck that takes 65 to 80 pounds. Anyway, tire pressure, yeah.
Does this apply to all cars?
I mean, all automotive vehicles, yeah. All tires that take air, pneumatic tires, so to speak.
It looks like we have a blurry image here. I didn't think that that would be an issue. So let me look at another tire picture here. You wanna tell us basically the basics? What does tires have to do with getting better fuel economy? And what is even fuel economy?
Haha. Well, I guess basic definition is miles per quantity of fuel, usually in the US gallons. Which would be miles per gallons, kilometers per liter, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, distance traveled per volume
Okay, distance traveled per volume of
of
I guess whatever
consumption. Yeah,
whatever you got in the tank, right?
yeah, basically.
Okay.
I mean, although some tanks are bigger, so consumption. Fuel consumption. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. How much does your car eat?
So, what does a gas tank have to do with the rubber meeting the road?
Well, it's not so much that the gas tank has to do, it's the tire, the rubber. It's not necessarily the rubber, although it does slightly relate. It's what's in between the rubber and the wheel. For example, the sidewalls. You've heard of steel belted radials and bias flat tires and this and that, right?
Wait, no, I've never heard of that.
Okay, well, see that dude on your screen, that purple car?
Where?
Anyway, I see it. Cars in the earlier days had what they called bias ply tires. The sidewalls were not as stiff as they are now, and take that for what it's worth, but they weren't. And believe it or not, that relates to fuel economy. Uh, there's I don't remember the word, but it's basically a rolling resistance factor related to how much the tire flexes. Okay, get this. A train, right?
Uh,
It's got solid steel wheels. They don't flex, so you don't have to worry about how much rolling resistance they have. Plus, there's other factors, but anyway, So imagine you got a balloon under that wheel on your train, and it's like the outside's bulging because it's not got enough air in it
Okay.
to hold up the weight. Well, if you put enough air in that balloon and it can hold the air, which tires do, it's gonna be straighter up, right? It's not gonna be bulging out on the sides.
Yeah.
Basically, if you look at the top of a tire, it's more straight up and down compared to the bottom that's got weight on it, and it's bulging out on the sides, especially when underinflated or underrated, meaning not the right tire for the weight load.
So
Like,
what part of that is gonna get you better fuel economy? Like, are you saying like the less amount of surface area there is, like the better?
yeah, actually, it's not just the surface area touching the road, but that's got something to do with it. It's also the actual flex of the tire itself. It's also okay.
So
For example,
if you were gonna tell a teenager why they should keep their tires inflated, it's not only because they're gonna wear out their tires faster, right? What you're saying is that
well,
they'll get more miles per gallon, and how efficient would that be? Like how much miles per gallon do you think? Is it a big deal?
I mean, if you consider that an average tire takes 30 pounds of pressure on a car, not trucks, obviously, but that's not always obvious to some, sorry. And you let it go for, a year and a half without checking it, and you don't have tire pressure monitoring systems like most new cars have now to keep it above 28 pounds. You could see a difference of 5 miles per gallon if you let it get low enough.
Oh, dang. Yeah,
Not to mention
I'd like to go 5
that
more miles.
that heat from the flex in the tire from not having enough air in it can build up while you're on the interstate, especially at high speed, and cause a blowout, which is dangerous. I mean, that's not related to fuel economy, but it's still a fact.
Hmm.
Like, there's anytime you have a loss of energy, there's heat related. Anybody with basic physics sense has that knowledge. So the same is true with tires.
All
I
right.
mean, if you're losing power, energy, whatever you want to call it, because this is moving more than it should, then too much heat builds up, and that's dangerous in some cases, especially. But yeah, there's a fuel economy issue too. But alignment, front end alignment, they say, but it's four-wheel alignment now because most cars are front or all-wheel drive, so there's adjustments on all four corners usually, not always. But either way, I got a good one for you.
What's up? What's that?
I gained 4 miles per gallon on my '09 Focus.
I don't know why you were gonna. I thought you were gonna tell me about your weight. I was like, okay, sorry.
Oh no! Since I've been married, I've lost and gained, but it's all about the same as today. Now, whatever that's got to do with it. Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You gained 4 miles per gallon doing what? Doing what though?
An alignment and adding 4 pounds of pressure to each tire, but the most important part was the right rear wheel was towed in enough to wear out the tire over a course of 6 months. Extremely. Like, you could hit a bump in the road and the back end is shift around. I gained 4 miles per gallon by fixing that and setting the tire pressure.
Hey man, this is the kind of stuff that I think is gonna like help people out, I guess, in seeing where the gas prices are going. I think that this topic could bore the pants off of a certain demographic, but the ones who are driving, I think, will find this completely useful because I never would have known that your tire pressure could change something like the amount of dollars you have left in your pocket.
Well, yeah, and not just the fuel economy even, but the cost of the tires and how they were. But yeah, definitely fuel economy related. But what to do after that, right?
Yeah,
I
what
mean,
else
you got
can we do? Because I've heard some myths and maybe let's even call them legendary things not to do. Is there anything else we can do for a better
what have
fuel
you heard
economy?
not to do? I'm I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
So for instance, one of them was, I've been told by my parents, like, shut off the air conditioner when I was a kid. They're like, oh, you
Oh yeah,
can't
that's a
have that
good
on.
one.
And
Well, there's that,
I,
which is true.
I say screw it with how hot it's been. Like, I don't care, but I feel like I've been going through gas a lot faster. But I think there's another reason behind that, and I'm going to get with you on that later. But what do you think about air condition? Can that
Does it affect
mess
fuel
with your?
mileage? Of course it does. Well, you've got this extra engine load with the belt turning the compressor that when the clutch is not engaged, it doesn't. So it's like just a basic pulley letting the belt turn freely. So yeah, when the compressor's on and hotter it is, the more the compressor runs based on pressures in the system of the air conditioning and whatnot. Anyway, but like it's a small gain compared to comfort value. Like, for example, on my Focus, '09 Focus, just regular old 4-cylinder Focus.
Uh-huh.
If I took, if my air conditioning worked, the mechanics don't fix their own stuff. Just don't ask.
I kind of
I
get
don't.
it. Why do you want to
I
go
don't
home
want
and do more work?
yeah, that's pretty much it. I ride with the windows down, but it would only be like a 2 miles per gallon difference.
So I typed up, does air conditioner
Like,
change your fuel
and
mileage? And
percentage wise on that car is very low.
dude, this says that driving with your windows down can also reduce fuel economy. So
It depends on how fast you're going, which is another important factor. You know, uh, air conditioning before we leave to speed and aerodynamics
mhm.
has a safety factor involved, especially when it's raining or in the winter. Everybody knows that when you turn defrost on, it helps defog the windows. What they don't realize is the air conditioning compressor is working while the heat is, because it's not just air conditioning and heated. There's literal climate control, including moisture in the air in the cabin compartment. So even in the summer and winter, it will like keep the windows from fogging up. That's why when people's air conditioners quit working, their defrost on the front windshield don't work as well in the wintertime. Or as quickly, I'll say.
Yeah, I don't have much experience with that, but that also would affect your driving, your aerodynamics in a
If
way,
the
right?
windows down, I mean, like, yeah, when the windows are down and your air don't work, the windows don't fog up as much, and yeah, you will lose a little bit of aerodynamics. But unless you're going 80 or better, it's not such a big deal.
So
And
what are we
the
going to advise these people to do when they're driving and they want to get better gas mileage? Are we going to tell them roll up the
go
windows?
slower, first of all. Check your tire pressure, make sure the alignment's good. And no, don't worry about the windows. Just slow down 10 miles an hour. I mean, I know the
Really?
world's all. I mean, yeah, the world's all instant and whatnot, but studies show, no lie, the average four-cylinder front-wheel drive car, be it Nissan Altima, be it Toyota Camry, Corolla, be it Honda Accord, Ford Focus. If you slow down from 75 to 65, you usually gain like 2 or 3 miles per gallon. Just based on wind resistance, whether your windows are down or not.
That's kind of amazing to me. So we can keep the air conditioning on. Then is that
I mean, yeah, don't. I mean, if you can afford that extra 50 cent on the way to work, go for it.
okay?
I mean, depending on how far you go, it might be $1 or $2, but if you're going further, I would assume you make enough to, be in comfort on the way there.
I'll
Not
keep
to
that in
mention
mind. I'll keep that in mind. You know why?
defog factor.
You know what I wanted to know too about I see in voice text channel here your next point was gonna be about the ethanol contained in our gas, right?
It's basically a fuel quality. Yes, and it's not just ethanol, it's you see, you got E85 now, you got flex fuel vehicles, you got diesel, you got 87, 89, 91, 93 octane, you got no ethanol gas for more money, and is it worth it?
Okay, that made my head spin. What is unleaded gasoline? Is that ethanol? Is that completely ethanol? Is that part ethanol?
Even though leaded gas was called ethyl at one time, it's not really got anything to do with alcohol as much as a type of lead that is liquid. Tetraethyl lead. It's basically an octane booster.
Okay.
It's I mean, it is kind of like, okay, I say it's not related to alcohol, that's not so true. What it did was, okay, we're gonna start out with this. If
Sure.
you throw a match, what happens if you throw a match in a bucket full of gasoline?
Oh, kablooey. You're probably gonna die.
What happens if you throw a match in a bucket full of diesel?
I've never tried that, and I don't think I want to either, do I?
It does absolutely nothing. It puts the match out.
But we're still not going to advocate that though, right? Or what?
I don't care if people throw a flamethrower on a bucket of diesel. As long as the bucket don't melt, the diesel's not going to burn.
What in the world? How does that work? Because it's going in the engine and combusting, right?
That's got a lot to do with the combustion process and cylinder compression. We've all heard compression, right? Compression.
I don't think a lot of people know how fuel works in cars. Honestly, I think that they just think that you put gas in and the gas magically converts pixie dust into a light that moves the piston on a wheel crank.
I mean, sure, have a happy thought and you can fly. Yeah, what's in it for me though? No, I mean, you're right. You're not wrong for sure. Most people don't feel like they have time enough to care, and that's why we're here. Because if they feel like they have time enough to care, maybe we can learn a little something, as they say sometimes in the redneck states.
Yeah. So you're a mechanic, right?
That's what the people that don't know me call me, yeah.
Okay, I'm not a mechanic. I wanted to ask you a question. Do I understand how an engine works? Maybe I can ask you.
Do you?
Tell me. Yes, yes, yes. I think so. I think so. So basically, I think what happens is the gas, it doesn't get converted to pixie dust just directly. What happens is the gas shoots up the gas line to the engine, where the engine takes it in small amounts and and compresses it in small chambers, right?
With a lot more air than fuel.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, a lot more air than fuel. Okay, that's good to know.
I mean, like, not on an atomic level, but volume of a cylinder, yeah, you're taking in a lot more air than fuel.
Is this the same process with regular unleaded as diesel?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
And that's got a lot to do with what we were mentioning earlier. Okay, but before we go to that, the compression.
Yeah. Then from there, your spark plug. I think what happens is your spark plug ignites the ratio, whatever ratio it is of air and gas, and then it pushes a piston, and then the piston pushes um, on some. This is where I don't know. It pushes on the pixies that move the wheel cranks, and then they start rotating, and then it somehow the magic dust flies to the back of your wheels and pushes you forward. Is that
Yes, the fuel burn causes a rotational force on the crankshaft of the engine that is transferred through usually a transmission and whatnot, and turns the wheels with rotational force directly relative to output of the engine and gears in between.
okay? So I do relatively know how it works, right?
Somewhat.
Relatively.
I wish I could get you a good one of those pictures. Oh, look, that's a good decent one.
Okay. You want to throw it up?
But basically, there's more than just that a piston goes up and down and a crankshaft turns to make rotational force. There's the fact that the piston goes up and down and changes cylinder volume constantly. That is a major influence in, like, even what type of fuel you can run. Like, for example, diesels, they run higher compression ratios. They don't run spark plugs. They have no spark. They have glow plugs if it's really, really cold. They need them. Other than that, it's really not very effective to even care about them. Usually.
A glow plug, okay.
Yeah, basically like you would on a little RC nitro burning car. Which is oddly enough related. The denser the fuel, the cooler it burns, the slower it burns, and it can run more compression, which usually makes more power and needs less spark to make that happen. Which in the case of diesels and nitromethane after they're running is practically nothing but practically on nitro, none on diesel.
So
did you
which
see
one?
my picture I put up there?
No, I did not. So you put a new picture up? Oh, okay, cool. I had something similar to this.
Yeah, so basically when that piston is going down, it's pulling air and fuel in, right?
Uh-huh.
Imagine that just staying there for a second and you can see it. It's not spinning real fast. Just imagine that. But imagine, like, literally on an atomic level, all the heat involved in every molecule within that cylinder and then you're pushing the piston up with the valves closed, and you're literally compressing that into a smaller space.
Oh,
What's gonna
okay.
what's gonna happen to the heat within that mass of what's in the cylinder? It's gonna be like more dense, right? It's gonna be more close together. It's gonna be more heat per volume.
Yeah,
So
like
if you have a more volatile fuel, which oddly enough is 87 octane for what we know today, the cheapest gas you can get, it's more likely to explode if there's too much heat buildup before you want the spark to happen. Does that make sense?
I guess it does, in a sense.
Diesels
Yeah, because it's
don't.
not very efficient, and that's why it would be cheaper, right?
I mean, it's the compression ratio, though. Like, most cars today are designed to run on cheap gas. Unless you've got a performance car that says, and even the turbo cars can run on, but I don't recommend it. 87 octane, you know, cheap, regular old 450 here and there, gallon of gas. Yeah, they have less compression ratio, which means there's less heat build up before these days computer tells the spark to happen, so that the computer can control it more efficiently. Like, basically, you don't have ignition before it's supposed to happen, which would be detonation. Some call it NOx, some call it pre-ignition, but it's a detonation. Detonation in an engine is bad. You want to burn.
Detonation?
Yes, it's literally called detonation. If you have bad fuel in your car or whatever, the wrong fuel for your engine, which is why most engines are made to run the crappy gas that everybody else buys, because it's detrimental to the health of the engine if you run less than what it should.
Oh, I see.
Yes, it's literally an explosion instead of a burn. Like, a smooth burn will push the piston back down like it should. A detonation will jar everything in that cylinder, including stuff that never would have thought about being jarred, and potentially break parts that never would have broken unless, so to speak.
Hey, that's good to know. That's why, you know what? I thought Jettas were really awesome for a reason. My friend had a Jetta that was diesel, and I was like, I wonder why this. I mean, it must be like really. It must be
Well, that's the
better
thing.
than a regular car because it drove
That's what I'm
so
saying.
smooth.
That's directly related to the match in the bucket thing. Diesels don't detonate unless something's way off mechanically, usually.
I want a
Like,
Jetta now.
because the fuel burns so slowly that it's a lot easier to control, and you can get more power out of
Oh, wait.
per volume because it's a denser fuel.
So the way that diesel's going up right now, though, do I still want diesel or no?
I don't know how much diesel is. I like gas burners, but I run premium at $1 more a gallon, so it's pretty much the same.
Dude,
It,
diesel's
if
nuts. Diesel's like
well,
almost $9, I heard. I
I
don't
don't
know.
run premium in my Focus. For what it's worth, I run $4.50 a gallon, regular old cheap stuff. But in my Turbo Silverado, I run premium because I have to.
Okay, so where I live, diesel is $5. Wait, what? No, when was
But
this?
on average, a diesel it's got literally a 20% more likely power output, but That's why they usually put diesels in heavier vehicles. So, I mean, but yeah, if you've got a diesel Jetta, go for it. I mean, they're pretty economical as far as fuel economy goes, from what I hear.
All right. Um, I wanted to bring up one point in here, but you know what? We'll probably have to save it for next time.
E85. I wanted to touch on this real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're gonna cut off yet, but I want to talk about alternative fuels next next time we do this. But what were you saying?
I like you mean running like vegetable oil, like use cooking oil in your diesels and use transmission fluid. Did you know you can run used transmission fluid in a diesel?
No, that's weird.
All you gotta do is filter it good. It burns just the same.
I don't know if I'd want to do that, but yeah, you're gonna have to explain that to me. Not now, not
Anyway,
now, but yes. Anyway,
You know, my biggest problem with flex fuel cars
what's up with that?
is that the engine mechanically is designed to run on either or flex fuel. If they were to produce E85 only vehicles, they would be more economical because you could raise the compression ratio because ethanol burns slower than gasoline, like less detonation risk. So you could raise the compression ratio and get more heat before the spark happens, and other factors. But when you put it in a regular engine that's designed to run regular gasoline, the compression ratio, it's not full enough. It's just not as efficient because there's other factors, spark timing and whatnot. But you can make more power with E85 than you can on premium fuel, no matter what.
Wow.
Like, if it's set up to run E85, of course, but like if it was set up to run only E85, like people actually use it for racing. Like
That's
at
crazy.
strip and whatnot. There's E85 only twin turbo cars, trucks, whatever. Yeah, like
I wasn't gonna go down the ethanol route because I think that's pretty well known nowadays. They're gonna start trying to put ethanol in our gasolines. That's one of the news articles I
what do you
read.
mean they're gonna try to start? They already have.
No, well
I
they're gonna
guarantee it's at least 10% every pump you go to, almost.
well they're gonna put more.
The problem with that is ethanol, compared to gasoline as a whole, not E85 or whatever blend, runs like 80% more volume. So E85 being blended is on average 30% more fuel intake per mile, horse, whatnot. And if you calculate that the price per gallon, it's really not worth it. Which is sad because if you had I only run E85 brand new car, it could get better efficiency because you could program it to, like with the other factors involved. Ignition time and compression would already be there because it's mechanical, and meaning the more power you can make, the less power you need to use to go down the road at 65.
Yeah, you could have more fuel in the tank, right?
Yeah, it's like using less fuel to go
It's
the same mile because you have to use less throttle to get the same power.
it would be kind of like compressing the liquid in your tank if we had the ability to change what fuel we're running off of, right? If we could just snap our fingers and I'm just trying to make it easy for people at home that don't really understand.
I guess to a degree that's somewhat. It's not necessarily the density, but it usually is somewhat. It's also the volatility, like the how likely it is to explode factor, which octane, believe it or not, is less like premium. A lot of people don't realize burns slower than regular. They're like, I'm going to put premium in here and get more power. Well, not unless your car is designed to run on it. Regular is likely to get you the same power and as good or better economy because the fuel's designed to run in that car, or that car is designed to run that fuel, so to speak.
So how much do you think people get? How much more bang for their buck do they get? The pun is intended. I see a Yukon here that has flex fuel. Is that gonna change a lot of
that would be about the same as the Tahoe I had. That was a flex fuel Suburban. I had both. Okay, I'll give you the true life example. 03 Suburban I had. It was flex fuel. You got 15 miles per gallon on regular 87 cheap gas. Well, cheap as it is now, $4.50 a gallon.
That's cheap as it is. You're silly.
At the time, it was $3. I don't have it anymore. Anyway, E85 was available. I filled it up one day. It was almost empty. I got 11 miles per gallon, and it only cost 20 cents less per gallon.
Dude, what the heck? That's not even a huge difference.
I know. In fact, it cost me more that week to drive to work.
You know what I think is amazing? How we have not used alternate fuels by now. I really feel like
flex fuel versus primary only. You know, if you have the flexibility to run on craft gas, fuel, whatever you want to call it, then you're gonna lose some potential energy, like when you run on something better. Hence the 85. E85 at the pumps rated at usually 110 octane, compared to premium being like 91 or 93. It's a lot less volatile, it burns a lot slower, it burns a lot smoother, which relates if a system's designed for it and tuned for it, more efficiency.
Alright, so I'm gonna pretend like you didn't tell me all this about E85 or flex fuel, which is essentially flex fuel, right?
I mean, yeah.
I googled I googled Yukon flex fuel miles per gallon, and it looks like just a regular Yukon gas per gallon. So I had to.
The only difference is that yellow sticker in there, the gas lid.
Dude,
as far as most people see,
that's upsetting to me because it's just.
Now there's a little more difference.
It's a gimmick. It's just a gimmick.
But, I mean, related to how it works, there's a little more difference. They come with half a point more compression. They come with slightly more high flow injectors. They come with a sensor to tell how much alcohol's in the fuel. But if you don't have that yellow sticker, do not put E85 in your car, because you will have to take it to the shop. It will not run.
All right, that's good advice here, and we're just trying to better inform people. But I typed in, does flex fuel get better mileage? Said most people report a reduction in fuel economy of 15 to 25%.
Yeah, that's about right. 15 to 11 miles per gallon.
That's amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing.
25%. It might have been 11.5.
So yeah, stay away from flex fuel cars, people, in our time of crisis.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
Would I rather have my grandpa's diesel his Bronco right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
It'd be
No.
the same thing? No? Okay. All right.
Is it new?
No, it's not new. No. It does not take
Uh,
DEF.
My 81 F-150 is carbureted. I run premium in it because it lasts slightly longer with the crap fuel we get for as much as it is today. And I doubt it gets 10 miles per gallon.
All right.
So
Dang.
no.
That's
But-
expensive, yeah.
You don't want to test my off-road in it.
All right. Definitely not.
mean,
I
it's
drive
got
an
its
I drive an
value,
Impala.
but I don't drive it to work very often, that's for sure.
Yep. Well, we're right about at our limit. Did you want to go over anything else before we have to move on to the next episode next week?
What will that be?
I want to talk about alternative fuels and what other cars are fueled off of, and why the heck we're not using those fuels.
Oh, that might be interesting considering what we could be using.
Yeah, we could be. I just heard today that you can run. Someone converted their car to use natural gas, and he said that was incredibly cheaper than unleaded gas.
I had like 100 thoughts pop up when you said that.
And
We'll save that for next time then.
for sure,
I mean,
sure.
I don't know about fuel economy versus money versus what, but I know a lot of county/city vehicles are CNG capable. I'll just say that.
What's it called?
Compressed natural gas, CNG.
So you've known about this.
Oh, I mean, like, I'm a master tech, yo. I know about the whole system.
I used to work at a dealership, and I never heard of a compressed natural gas car. Where do you even fuel up your compressed natural gas car?
That part I never really studied, but I know how they work.
I
They burn, clean. That's all I'm gonna say for now.
dang. All right, that's a teaser. That's a teaser and a half.
I'm not saying that cities and counties run it regularly. You know, I don't know how the politics work on that, but
Yeah.
I know that a lot of government vehicles are capable to run it.
There's some cars here on the list that I just pulled up that are pretty popular vehicles that can use
Oh.
natural gas.
One more thing, going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Anybody with a hybrid or electric car, get the right tires for your car. It's
Wha-
not a gimmick. The sidewalls are stiffer. They're made to carry more weight, which the batteries in hybrid and electric cars are heavy. So you need the right tires on your car or you're going to get less efficiency. Enough said.
Alrighty then. That is food for thought. Was there one more thing that people could help get better gas mileage? Anything else?
Yeah. Like Dave Chappelle said. Well, actually the opposite of. Sometimes you don't have to race.
All right, that's a good point. Just slow down a
Uh,
bit. We'll be safer and you'll have more money later.
Less throttle is the model. And keep those tires and alignments checked. And don't forget your oil change, please. And I'm not saying 3,000 miles, I'm just saying regular at least 3 times a year, and I'll be happy.
Cool. I think our cars will be too.
I mean, you know, at least twice a year, depending on how and where you drive. But yeah, the cars actually are happier. We could also go into how older cars didn't get as much economy based on other components on how they were built and this and that, and even though the fuel was better then.
Oh,
But
we can, and we most likely will, because the time just flies by when we're talking.
but maybe we'll do another one based on performance of
Oh,
the new cars.
dude, I think I stopped our stream, but I don't know. I accidentally closed the window. So let's say our goodbyes, and hopefully we're still recording.
Either way,
All right, guys. Well, it was nice talking to you, Doof. It always is.
yeah,
Let's do this again soon.
cool.
Like, subscribe, everybody, if you want to know more about cars and talk to Doof about it.
I vote for next week.
Okay, let's do this next week.
All
Bye,
right.
bye, everybody.